Hello everyone. I just wanted to make a video. It's been a long time since I've done this, and this year I'm getting back into the groove of making videos, making blogs, TikToks. TikTok was something that I've been consistent enough, and it's an outlet for me as well to share things on a mental health basis, and to share little gems that just come to me, and wanting to share that with you in the hope that it helps, quite simply. I'll put my details in the description below, but one thought that was coming to my mind, I'm literally sat here waiting for a client. I don't think they're going to show up. So I'm using this time to do something productive. And I was just thinking of the dynamics of a relationship which is toxic or narcissistic, and I'm focusing on one thing mainly. I've seen a lot of clients lately, a lot of women who are not in the great relationships, and one question I can almost guarantee they ask is, how can I change? How can I either change myself or the situation? The second part is my words, but it's how can I change? The thing is, underneath that question is a belief. And the belief is that something is wrong with me, that I'm doing something wrong. When we think about couples in toxic or narcissistic relationships, so let's say I want to talk to my partner about something, something's not going well, I need to express my feeling, and I do it, and my partner gets irritated or angry or frustrated. They show that frustration in some shape or form. They may get angry, they may become violent in extreme situations. They may physically show their frustration, they may give the silent treatment, etc., etc. So they may show their displeasure in many different ways. Instead of seeing that toxic way of responding, so in that moment, when you're in that relationship, when you're in it, you don't see it as, oh my God, that is not the way a mature person should respond, which is true. Because you're the second person, because you're the other person in that situation, you feel that, oh my God, it was the wrong time of day, or it was the wrong day, or it was the wrong way of saying it. My tone of voice, this is something I always used to hear, the tone of voice wasn't good. My look on my face wasn't good. It could be anything. So we just start to look for reasons why the timing of our conversation, the timing of when we brought up whatever it was we wanted to bring up wasn't correct. And our brain convinces us that it was us, it was our fault. So instead of recognizing the toxic behavior of that other person, now what we're going to do is, sometimes we want to speak to a counsellor, not really knowing what counselling really is, and ask, what can I do to change? It's not almost like, let me change that. It's the situation is that the message also that we're receiving on a subconscious level is, love is conditional. You will only get access to me and my love when you've got everything aligned, when everything is right. And so far, nothing, it's either the wrong time of day or the mood's not good or whatever. And we believe that. And so we go to professionals or family or friends and say, so what can I do to change? How can I get everything aligned so finally that door is going to open? It's kind of like that jackpot. How can I get the 3 cherries so that I get that jackpot, that I get that money? You're never going to be able to get those 3 cherries aligned. You're never going to be able to get the stars and all the planets aligned, because the bar always moves And it's not always that the bar moves, it's because the problem was never you. The problem was never the timing, the problem was never the day or their mood or whatever. The problem was coming from them. You're dealing with a person who, for whatever reason, just is not able to take any kind of sometimes neutral or negative feedback. You are monitoring so closely your tone of voice, everything, but you're dealing with someone who just never learned and is probably very unwilling to learn how to deal with mature conversation or how to deal with difficult conversation, and that is the issue. But it's a bad feeling to put the blame, and it's not putting the blame, it's just bringing everything into awareness that this is happening. It feels bad to say, well, actually it's not me, it's you. And how can you bring that up as a conversation? You know, they can't take it. So this is what I wanted to just focus on and talk about. You know, I don't intend to do really long videos, but if you're in that situation, I feel you. I've been in that situation, so I know what it's like. I know what it's like trying to monitor everything about you in order for the other person's reaction to be positive or to get a decent response. You know, I get it, I really do. And if you are in that situation, it's not you. It's not your fault. It's not your fault that they can't take criticism. That's something that they have to work on and that they have to deal with. But it's not you. You don't have to continue. Of course, we have to see how we are. Of course, if I go to my partner and say, yeah, you don't, of course, I have to be aware of that tone. You know, of course, I'm not free of you know, just acting the way I want to act. Not at all. But you know, the minute we start to almost look at every aspect of us in terms of how we communicate, in terms of how we are, sometimes in terms of even how we look in some situations, that's when you know something's not right. Because there's no healthy relationship that will ask you to do that. No healthy relationship will do that to you. So I'm going to leave it there. If you have anything to share, I'd love to hear your comments, read your comments rather. As I mentioned, all my details are below. If you are in the UK or you are in Mauritius, then feel free to reach out to me. Even if you are in a different country, that's not a problem. Give me an email. I do work with people in who are overseas as well, so that's absolutely fine. I'm always overseas myself. So I hope this helped. And stay tuned because there's going to be more of these kinds of videos coming. I hope that if you found it helpful, you know, give it a like. You know, do not hesitate to push the subscribe button. And thank you for listening to the video. Take care and have a great day.